Cinema is a huge industry whose success cannot be predicted precisely from the beginning to the end. No matter how beautiful the movies are, the film industry is a risky industry beyond war. So risky that even a bomb can be caught. Let's see what this box office bomb is. A film that is commercially unsuccessful is known as a box office bomb. Here the film earns relatively less. Therefore, the producer, distributor, studios, and companies of the film lose their due dividends. Today we are preparing to talk about 10 movies that surprised the whole cinema era. We warmly welcome you all to the electrifying Top 10. Let's take a look at box office bombs, 10 more likely sequel surprises. Number 10, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. This movie is a 2000 sequel to the wildly popular 1999 independent horror film, The Blair Witch Project. After the success of the first feature, which grossed $248 million on a budget of less than $1 million, Artisan Entertainment rushed to produce its sequel. Without Haxan Films' involvement, Blair Witch 2 became everything the Blair Witch Project was not. Big budget, Hollywood flashy, and special effects heavy. The finished product alienated fans of the original. It turned out to be a disappointing profit. Number 9. Exorcist 2: The Heretic. The Heretic is a 1977 supernatural horror film that follows the 1973 hit. Though the original movie was a massive success, grossing over $400 million, the follow-up took in only $25 million. The response from viewers was equally disastrous, and it is often billed as one of the worst films ever made. Number 8. Grease 2. Let's shift gears and delve into the disappointing reception of Grease 2, the 1982 sequel to the beloved 1978 musical Grease. Critics didn't hold back in their assessment, deeming the sequel a letdown characterized by a lackluster plot and uninspiring songs. While the original musical soared to extraordinary heights, accumulating nearly $395 million over its lifetime, Grease 2 fell drastically short, pulling in a mere $15 million at the box office. Number 7. Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights. Introducing Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights, a sort of follow-up to the 1987 blockbuster Dirty Dancing. Initially conceived as a departure from its predecessor, this film delves into a more serious narrative inspired by the producer's personal encounters amidst the upheaval of the Cuban Revolution. Despite its intriguing premise, it struggled to recoup its $25 million budget at the box office. Number 6. The Rage, Carrie 2. The Rage, Carrie 2 is the 1999 sequel to the 1976 supernatural horror film Carrie, which was based on the novel of the same name by Stephen King. Though the first film was nominated for 2 Academy Awards and was widely lauded by critics, the sequel was met with a lukewarm response. It failed to turn a profit, taking in only $17.7 million at the box office. Number 5. Catty Shack 2. This film is a follow-up to the 1980 comedy film Catty Shack starring Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, Rodney Dangerfield, and Ted Knight. Both films are centered on a golf course. Catty Shack 2 was slammed for its ridiculous script, bad direction, and weak plot, and only has a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. Compared to the first film, which grossed over $39 million, the sequel made more than half of its $20 million budget. Number 4. Return to Oz. Return to Oz is a fantasy film produced by Walt Disney Pictures and based on a series of books by L. Frank Baum. Although it won a cult following and received an Academy Award nomination for Best Visual Effects, the film performed poorly at the box office and was well below its budget of $28 million. Number 3. Basic Instinct 2. Released in 2006, Basic Instinct 2 is the belated sequel to the 1992 erotic thriller, Basic Instinct. Sharon Stone returns as Catherine Trammell, the provocative and mysterious crime novelist. Sadly, with a new director and the loss of Michael Douglas as Stone's co-star, this film just didn't measure up to the first one. It was panned by critics, won the most Razzie Awards of 2006, and is one of the worst reviewed films of the 90s according to Rotten Tomatoes. Though the original film raked in $35.29 million, Basic Instinct 2 failed to even break, making only $354 million. Number 2. Son of the Mask. Son of the Mask, 2005, is the sequel to the 1994 comedy fantasy movie The Mask, which was based on a series of comic books by Dark Horse Comics. Though the original film was a huge hit with Jim Carrey in the starring role, the Canadian comedian didn't return for the sequel. And Son of the Mask was a critical and commercial disaster. The film cost New Line Cinema approximately $100 million to make and didn't come anywhere near making that back at the box office. Number 1. Evan Almighty. Released in 2007, Evan Almighty is the standalone follow-up to 2003's Bruce Almighty and a comic retelling of the Noah's Ark story. The initial production budget was set at an already hefty $140 million. Due to the problems like filming live animals, plus costs associated with set construction and computer effects and an expensive marketing campaign, spending on the film rocketed to approximately $200 million. Though Evan Almighty managed to bring in over $173 million worldwide, it didn't do nearly as well as expected, and ended up losing an estimated $88 million, making it one of the biggest box office bombs of all time. Have you ever watched one of these movies? What are your thoughts? Comment below and share this awe-inspiring exploration with the movie lovers you know. Your support is invaluable, so please like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay tuned with electrifying Top 10. Thank you for watching.